Hello, friends. So glad you are interested in BeADisciple.com's accredited pay-as-you-go practical ministry certification in women's ministries. And I am honored to be here today with a member of the first ever cohort, Susan Teaser. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Meg.
It's so good. Oh, sorry.
It's good to be here. It's exciting to talk about it.
Yes. So how have you changed because of your experience in this cohort?
Well, I think the biggest thing is my confidence level has increased coincidentally or on purpose. One never knows what the Spirit is doing in the background. I had just finished my certified lay ministry certification around the same time that this was beginning. And when I saw this offering, it seemed like, oh, this is a great thing to go into, or, a great experience to try again right after that certification process, which was almost 2 years. Um, it took almost 2 years to complete. So as a certified lay minister, I was thinking, what is it that I'm doing here? I mean, how am I going to use this? I knew that I was called. That was obvious. And through it all felt like it was the right track to be on. And at the end, I thought, oh, well, how do I use this? What am I being called to do? And that's exactly what the certification program offered me. More confidence theologically, more confidence because we had so much time practicing speaking with each other and then speaking interviews with our congregations, that it just feels like, I don't know everything, but I'm on good footing and I can take off from here. So I think that's the biggest, it's sort of an overused word, but I'm a laity person. I'm a lay person, and by choice. I mean, this is where I need to be. So there's always that question about, well, what do people in seminary know, and what kind of weight can my ministry serve, or how do I do that in conjunction with clergy?
So what are the specific results that you're walking away from in this cohort with the women's ministry certification?
Well, the first thing, we have a cohort. There's about 6 of us that met regularly on Zoom, and going into it, it was clear, like, oh, geez, we're going to be spending a year together, and what a year to have a cohort of women's ministry with this year. But even now, we look at ourselves as a mutual ministry team. We have a great trust level. We all know each other from meeting weekly for the past year. So there's that. And that is always reassuring to me, that there are a group of people, not in the congregation, but throughout the country, who have been through the same process, where we can talk about what we're doing ministries in our own churches. So there's that. And as I looked at that question and thought about how to answer that, I knew about women in the Bible, but I didn't know them. And I didn't realize that following the lectionary over 3 years, we still miss so many of their stories, so many of their histories. So I really walked away from this process feeling like I know these women, and that these women can inform whatever I do. And that's been a thread that's run through the whole cohort. So to have a whole cohort of people to talk to, in the future, who have that same electric feeling is really magnificent. But because we would study somebody and would say, well, how come we didn't know about her? What a story. Why don't we know about her? Why aren't we talking? Well, we are talking about her now. And I think that's the biggest thing.
It is utterly mind-blowing that very devout Christians, I sometimes jokingly call members of some of our courses at BeADisciple.com overcommitted Christians, because most of them are people that are on as many committees as they can be on. They're very active in churches. They're very faithful in reading their Bible. They've been reading their Bible for years, yet they're still blown away, like you were saying. And we all are, that these stories were not taught to us more as children and teenagers. So,
Yeah.
So what were you struggling with before this experience that is no longer a struggle for you?
The biggest thing, I think, because I have spent years in the lay servant ministry track. So, I have been asked to preach or fill in for the preacher or do meditations in a 30-minute, we have a 30-minute communion service that follows the traditions and has a message, which I have usually been asked to do. So, following the rules from the preach class is follow the lectionary. There's a reason for the lectionary, and so not being a seminarian, I have thought, oh well, this is, I need to really stay into the truth. Well, now I've been able to find ways to bring these women into whatever it is we're speaking about, or whatever it is I'm being asked to give message to, without rocking the boat so much that it seems like it's adversarial. That it's always a matter of what adds to this story, what's the background of the story, and who was present for the background of the story. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I do believe in the lectionary. I think there's a reason for it. And I've also learned about a book called Silent Voices, Silent Lives, which is a women's lectionary. So it still follows the same A, B, and C, and it has these additional stories brought in about the women for those times. So more resources, more confidence in knowing that it's possible to deviate respectfully, I guess, is because it is respectful, and I take that very seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you recommend this certification in women's ministries to other people?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody who's interested in speaking, either as a lay speaker or a lay member. One example I have is that I had agreed to do the sermon in September where the reading was in Exodus, because that whole month our pastor's thoughts were we were going to follow the stories of Exodus. So of course that includes Moses in the basket, and that was the scripture for that particular day, which I used. And what the process has given me is that, there's that whole story about Pharaoh's daughter and the baby showing up, and the sister and Miriam, and all these wonderful things that happened that really, that's the story of Moses. That's how that all began. What this course has allowed me to do is say, well, how did they all get there? How'd that baby get in the river? What happened before that? And it just, I was able to trace it back to the midwives and the whole idea of speaking truth to power wisely, knowing how to work within a system that's challenging, survive, and to allow the destiny of, in this case, the destiny of Moses and our whole history continue. So without that, for me, that idea of Moses and the basket in the water, that's a story right then. But how it goes back and how I am linked as a person who is theologically interested and theologically intact for this can go all the way back to the first time there was a decision made to say no to power, and how to do it and how we are linked with that. It just makes that baby being in the river, it just deepens that whole story. It just deepens that whole story. And I'm a nurse by trade, so the midwives got my attention right away.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing from your heart and your mind today.
Yeah, I would say if anybody's on the fence to just go for it, just do it, because the first two courses, the women in biblical history, and then all the ways to explore all the different theological aspects from women is just going to break everything wide open. And then you get two practical courses to talk about it. What does it look like, for me, what does it look like in Topsom, Maine or Bryan, Maine? What does that mean for us? Which has been really magnificent.
So magnificent. Well, I am so excited for the person watching this that if they were on the fence, I think that your words were such a gift to them to follow that divine nudge within to commit and learn and grow as you have.
Well, I hope so. And the instructors are Reverend Beth Perry is a wonderful, wonderful instructor to take. She is really gifted in many ways, but I think the thing I appreciate about her most is that she can take that excitement. She can get it so we're on fertile territory to really get it and then move with it. And that's very exciting.
Very exciting. You're so right. Well, I will see you online, and thank you again for taking the time to share your words with us.
Well, thanks for asking me, Meg. It's been my privilege.